You guys remember this magnificent game called Tekken 7? The best game of all time. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to play some Tekken 7. Season 2 is almost here in Tekken 8, and I haven't touched that shit since Clive came out, okay? He's OP as shit, so who gives a fuck? As expected. Anyways, I just wanted to say, dude, Tekken 7 is so good. Like, it's still so solid, but obviously, you know, there's still flaws, but it's like, dude, the gameplay is just so much, it's just better in a way. You know, there's like no forced mix-up, right? I mean, some characters have it. So the thing is, I had a match with a Julia. I wish I recorded it, but I didn't record it at the time. But this is me versus, like, I don't know who. I fought Jaunch before when Tekken 7 was still here. I think he was like a Mokujin, and I remember I had to fight his like Falcon Ram or some shit, but that was like a long time ago. But it's very hard to find people who actually play the game now. Okay, it's literally just people who, I guess, bought the game when it's on sale. I mean, I'll put some like footage later of me fighting like newbies. But yeah, dude, the current state of ranked is so funny. It's like everything is like an ego battle sometimes. That's the thing that I really like about Tekken 7 too, is that because there's no first to two, you literally have a ego battle. God, Discord keeps going off. There's like an ego battle. It's like infinite rematches, right? So this is the thing that I really like about Tekken 7 compared to Tekken 8, right? So Tekken 8 is really a game about show all your cards on the table, and if you just so happen to have to play the right card at the right time, you win, right? But Tekken 7 is a game where it's like chess or war. You have to like literally set up your pieces, and then you just keep playing and playing and playing, and you can adapt. Like, I think this shit is so sick. I mean, there's times where you could just farm someone, but the thing, this is a skill that I don't think most people learn in Tekken 8. Is learning how to read your opponent, okay? Like, you understand their mind and you understand the game plan. That's one thing that Tekken 8 doesn't really enforce, and that's the only way how you can get good at Tekken 8 is if you play long sets. Long sets is a game that people need to do more, which is something that you learn in Tekken 7. So you wouldn't do all your setups in like the first two matches. And I understand that they're trying to make like Tekken 8 like, you know, a tournament game where it's like, oh my god, look at me, I'm gonna go enter tournaments and do all my cards and learn how to play. But I don't like that, you know. I mean, it's good, but it's like Tekken 7 would make you a badass, okay? You would learn, your mentality would just get just so strong before you even go in a tournament, you know what I mean? That's the thing that I thought was very different going to Tekken 7 tournaments compared to Tekken 8, was that like Tekken 8, I kind of just feel like you get beat by almost anyone. Like that, this is also my take in Tekken 8 tournaments. There's just so much new players in this generation. At least for Tekken 8, and it's just like nobody's. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, you know, like no names you've never heard before, constantly showing up everywhere, and it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to like downplay anyone who's new, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you just, you know, sometimes people get lucky and their mix-ups are just so strong that they end up in top 8, you know what I mean? And then sometimes when you watch it, you're like, damn, that was like, you know, like such a huge difference in skill level. And I remember this happened to me too. Like, I was not good and I ended up in top 8 in Tekken 7. But that was like my early tournament days. But that's the thing that I thought was really, I guess it happens at any tournament, but that's one thing that I noticed a lot at like Tekken 8 is that there are a lot of people who just, you know, new players who just show up and they're just mix, you know, they just mix, and it's like, I never heard this guy before, you know what I mean? But the thing about Tekken 7 was like, it was like consistent, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you watch like a professional athlete play, or you know, or like a team, and you expect that person to be there, you know. It's kind of like that, right? Like, oh yeah, that guy was there, you know. That's one thing I think is very different between the two competitive scenes. Anyways, yeah, dude, Tekken 8 is just so fun. I mean, Tekken 7, not Tekken 8. Tekken 7 is just such a fresh a breath of fresh air is all I could say. You know what I mean? Everyone is always holding back, but the thing is, like, you would never get it, okay? Like, I would say if you are from Tekken 8, I don't think you would really get it because Tekken 7 was very muddy, okay? That's what I would say. You wouldn't get it because the execution in that game is so much worse than Tekken 8. Like, Tekken 8 is so fast. It's a bit more fluid, but Tekken 7 is, like, perfect for me. Like, the backdashing, perfect amount of delay and you know, canceling. It's just so good. You compare that to Tekken 8, you're like zooming, you know. It just feels good. The one thing that I want to talk about Tekken 7 too is, like, you know, obviously it's not the first season, but I remember the first season of Tekken 7. That shit was really rough, and Paul could do a Oki mix-up after a 12-frame punish. Like, back one too, he would fly so far away, and he could get a free 444 and, like, put you in the mix-up, right? I remember that shit. That shit was crazy. But anyway, yeah, dude. Season 2, I will just say this. Season 2 Tekken 8, I'm not very hopeful, is what I would say. Is just because, like, you know, I've seen it with Tekken 7, man, and Tekken 8 is kind of following the same game plan, and it just seems like they're just forcing too much shit, you know what I mean? That the one thing that I also don't really like about Tekken 8 is that it's so hard to see style in that game, right? And so one thing that's really good about Tekken 7, I said execution was really hard, right? And that's what you find in Tekken 7 is, like, wow, these players are good because they had really good execution. Like, you know, Laws back in the days were really good, and Kazuya's, right? Kazuya's and Laws, when you watch pro plays, near the end of the life cycle of Tekken 7, everyone was, like, so good. Like, Nene Mishima was so good, you know? And there was Real Devil. This guy was hitting electrics as, like, 14-frame punishes, 13-frame punishes. It was amazing. And Nee thought that he was cheating, but this guy was the real fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was so fucking good, but I just don't see them anymore in Tekken 8. I don't know if it's, like, Tekken 7 players just don't like Tekken 8. I mean, I'm kind of in that boat. Like, Tekken 8 is its own boat, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's, like, so hard to beat a masterpiece. And, you know, I understand that, you know, this, and no matter what, in any generation of fighting games, people will always look back at the game and be like, oh wow, this game was so good, and the current one sucks. That's just how I think every generation is. Like, even you look at, like, these baby boomers, they're like, back in my days shit was tight, you know what I mean? And I think it's just nostalgia, and it's kind of like first love, you know what I mean? You just don't forget about the good times and shit that you've done with it, you know? Anyways, the one thing that I really want to talk about Tekken 7 too, that I think the reason why it's so good is because they really put everything in it. So if you don't know the history of Tekken 7 was supposed to actually be the last entry in the game. And if you just listen to the soundtrack, you could just feel that this was, like, the climax of the story. Like, this is, everything's gonna end here, you know? And to me, I just feel like Tekken 8 is chasing, like, the, how should I say this? It's like they're chasing the fire, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, don't forget about me too, guys, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how I feel about Tekken 8. But Tekken 7 in a way feels so complete, and like, this is the end. And that's all I could say about Tekken 8. It just really does feel like it has such, like, a big shadow to, like, you know, beat from Tekken 7. Like, it's just so good. It's insane, you know? I mean, you know, you just have to play it, man. That's all I can say. I think Tekken 8 players will definitely struggle, but man, it's just so good. Now the other thing I really want to talk about too is, like, Tekken 7's, obviously this is one of the biggest issues about Tekken 7 was, like, it's just so not fun to look at. When you watch people fight, it's very defensive and all movement based, and it's really boring to look at, and I get that. And Tekken 8's problem is to solve that. You know, a lot of flashing, a lot of cutscenes, like heat bursts and shit. But the thing that I think is very interesting about it is, like, it's almost like watching League of Legends, right? Or some stupid shitty esports game. You just don't get it unless you play it. You know, that's the thing. Like, if you watch, like, a Yu-Gi-Oh match too, you don't understand. You just see cards on the field. But if you understand what the cards do and their effects, then you'd be like, oh shit, this is actually really tight, you know? That's what Tekken 7 is like. It's not really flashy, but it's more like if you play it, you understand what it is. Even if you watch like Knee versus Khan, which is like probably the last big battle of Tekken 7. That was like the last Evo match, right? Of Tekken 7. Literally all they do is just move and they just do like 1-2-2, like a 10 frame punish, sidestep, you know, sidestep, low, sidestep, 10 frame, backdash. Like, it's very boring, but it's like if you play the game, you get it, you know what I mean? You're like, oh my god, why the fuck would he do something like that, you know? And then you really start to see how anti some people get. And that's just one thing that I really think is just so beautiful about Tekken 7. And you look at Tekken 8, it's really it's not, I don't know, I don't know how else to explain it other than it just feels kind of like sometimes you just like, damn, well, what could he do there? It's like a forced mix-up, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, well, there it is again. Oh, it's his turn. Oh, it's his turn. Oh boy. Oh, he looks like he's gonna win. Like, it just is. I think the thing that's really bad about this too is one thing I really noticed is like there is just no such thing as like a comeback factor in Tekken 8 really, right? It could be very landslide and there's just no good epic moments. Like there's just no slow-mos. And that's just something that is just so beautiful about Tekken 7 too, is like slow-mos were so fucking amazing. Like I was playing this shit and I'm getting slow-mos everywhere, fighting people, you know? It's just amazing. I guess there's some closing remarks about Tekken 7, at least when I'm playing it. Everyone is on Wi-Fi. It's dog shit. I'm on Wi-Fi too, because I have a cat and then he just chews up the Ethernet cord. So, you know, that's why I don't play Tekken 8 anymore. And it sucks. So anyways, yeah, everyone is on Wi-Fi. And dude, the internet, the rollback, all online, whatever the fuck, it's just so much worse than Tekken 8. But I will say, man, it is just so great. And now if you were watching the battles, it's so hard to climb up right now. It's like every battle you fight is plus 80, and very rarely do I find people my rank. I fought a Julia. I think I just said this earlier, but I couldn't record it because I forgot. But it was a pretty good match. It was like we ended up in a stalemate. But yeah, man. I don't even know. This game is just so. You know what I mean? It's like if you watch, like obviously the Lars is just so slow. Like that's one thing I really do do not like. You know what I mean? Lars is so fucking slow in this game, and he's just so bad. I don't know. Maybe we should get like a season 5 in Tekken 7. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, Tekken 7 was great. That's all I could say. I just wanted to reminisce on, you know, greatness, okay, before season 2 comes out. I'll be honest, I don't know if I will even play Tekken 8 anymore. That shit is not installed on my PC. But I don't know. If you haven't played Tekken 7 before, you got some questions about it, you know, there's no heat burst. I don't know, man. I guess you could look around or ask, and I guess I could answer. Dude, I think it's so crazy, but this is one of the games I have about 10k hours in there. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. But, yeah, I would really like to understand what a Tekken 8 player thinks about Tekken 7. It's so funny. Like, I just think it's so funny, like, seeing this game. Dude, I'm doing some Tekken 8 combos in here, too, because I was like, oh, shit, what's the original Tekken 7 combo? But, yeah, man. What an amazing game. That's all I could say. I don't know. Tekken 7 is just so good. So good. Anyways, I'll end it here. This is just a reminisce video before season 2 comes out. Tekken 7, the best.
Round 3. Fight.
Tekken 7. Try something, bro. Try something. I couldn't kill them.
KO.
Damn, detecting stab didn't no ass.
Oh yeah, try something, bro. Try something, bro.
手当てしてくれ